Welcome to another double shot. A lot of folks are having the conversation about DE&I in the workplace. Obviously, last week with significant news and Donald Trump's comments, I thought we would talk a little bit about how it's being framed, because one of the biggest issues with diversity, equity, and inclusion programs under the Biden administration and how they framed it up, one of the consequences is now one might assume, based on an identity, that a person didn't actually earn that job, which is not fair. But I would argue Democrats did this to themselves and put this on them by saying, oh, we need to get X amount of whatever the identity happens to be.
Do you find, so in the case of the crash that recently happened, we still don't know a lot about it. There's still questions. They're still looking into the black box.
And there will be for a while.
There will be for a while. But do you find when you get on a plane, are you looking for a specific type of a pilot when you get on a plane?
100%. And anyone being honest about that will say the same thing. I would not feel comfortable with two young pilots, for example. And that's not necessarily just because they happen to be young. It's that young generally means they don't have as many hours in the sky as someone who's got the grayish hair or full-on gray hair.
I'm the same way. I literally don't care. And oftentimes you can't even see because the door is closed. You're just like assuming that the best person who should have the job has that job. I don't care if the person is any color specifically. I don't care if they're any sex specifically. I do want them to be old. I want at least one person in there to be old to have some sort of experience. Because I'm a very nervous flyer. I don't like it.
Yeah,
and stories like this one.
It's a reverse ageism. It's literally a reverse ageism, right?
You're youngest.
You want someone who has the experience, and generally that's because of their age.
Like
we make that assumption.
A Sully Sullenberger type.
We would all feel more comfortable with that. And is that wrong? Does that mean that younger pilots aren't very good? No, of course not. But I will say, because I've been on flights now with female pilots, and that's relatively new for me. I don't normally have female pilots. We just haven't had that for a while.
Two female pilots?
One time it was two female pilots. The other times it was female and male. And this was happening at the exact same time that they were having the conversation of, we need more females, we need more black pilots, Latino pilots, all these different things. And that doesn't mean that she's not a good pilot, but I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't concerned briefly at least.
You question a little bit.
Because you all on the left framed it by saying, we're just getting people because they check some boxes, rather than saying, we're going to get the best of the best who also happen to be X, Y, and Z.
I want them to be 3 years before forced retirement. That's what I want. Because in the airline industry, I believe you cannot be a pilot over, 65?
Something like that. I don't want them on their final, flight.
Yeah.
I want someone who's got the experience.
I never want to be on a
we want to make sure that, but all of us do that. And I think that that's normal relatively. I feel like the DE&I stuff made it worse as far as how we judge people. And that's not fair to the individual that we're judging.
I just want most qualified, slightly older than young. Yeah. That's what I want. Slightly older, most qualified.
That's what they say about hosts of Double Shot. They want people who are just a little bit older, but very wise nevertheless.
Super wise.
They got one of them at least.
Handsome.
Older, wiser. We'll see you next time.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz here with Scott Rarucka from Legacy Group Capital. He's their CEO. So let's talk about someone who wants to invest in real estate. They don't quite know where to go, what to do, where to start, but they do know obviously that right now the market is really, really hot. So you're the place to do it. How do you help?
Yeah, so how we help is, we've been investing in the greater Seattle area for over 20 years, and we have a historical track record that is we're super proud of. Double-digit returns over time with no investor losses. And if you can find somebody else out there that's done that, you should probably talk to them. And how we really do it is we're lending on real estate, and we're also acquiring real estate and building it and developing it. All those things come out of a fund that people invest into. So there's lending and there's acquisition. And then we share in profits with all of our investors on both those activities. Jason, most people can't do that on their own. They're not going to go develop properties. They're not going to go be a bank and lend money. But they can jump in with us and they can be that developer and they can be that lender, but it's underneath our umbrella with a 20-year track record that's unparalleled to anything that you'll find out there. We've been told that we're one of the best kept secrets in the Pacific Northwest.
I don't want it to be a secret. I want everyone to know just about what it is you do. The Legacy Group Capital family of funds offer short-term 90-day investments at 7%. Longer-term investments, they've averaged double-digit returns. Just go to legacyg.com.